everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing Reverse 1999. For today's video, we're taking a look at a player's character analysis, Kakania and the Cost of Empathy. Alrighty, so there was a member in my Discord talking about a write-up and character analysis they were doing on Kakania. So this is Quill, the Owlet, let's see, at the Owlet 22. So this is going to, of course, be linked in the description and pinned comment. This is a player who also plays, plays Reverse 1999, of course, but also Limbus Company, it looks like. But they particularly love Kakania, and they did a bit of a deep dive, we will call it. So we're going to go through this analysis here, and we are going to, see what she thinks about this character. Are there some interesting little Easter eggs maybe you have not caught? She is a character that I instantly loved personally. Just pulling her and not even knowing her story, I really liked her as a playable character. But also, I'm starting to get to know her. I'm not fully caught up, so this might be a little bit spoilery for me, but that's okay. I don't mind spoiling like one character's storyline. And also, you know, learning about her through the eyes of another player. I think that's actually kind of fun. So, yeah, let's do the thing. And I'm going to read through this character analysis. This is a Twitter post with a whole lot to unpack. So if you are curious or you're a fan of the lore, diving deeper, getting to know these characters, join me for this little journey. All right. So again, thank you for this user for pointing this out. This is really fun to do a little different deep dive. And sorry I didn't post much over the past few days. I've been really busy, and I am changing up the format for this channel a little bit, so you'll notice that a little bit later this week. All right, as I go through here, I think I'm going to skip reading the credits of where something might have come from, so it doesn't break the flow of the story and the thoughts. But everything that they mention as far as quotes and stuff are, or where they got that research, is obviously listed here as well. So, okay, let's dive in. Kakania and the Cost of Empathy, a character analysis. Empathy is an essential human trait, especially in professions that demand emotional labor. But what happens when a caregiver experiences such intense empathy that they begin to feel numb? As the saying goes, when you pour water into a glass too quickly, even the thickest of it breaks. This metaphor aptly describes the phenomenon of compassion fatigue, an occupational hazard that occurs when professionals take on suffering of patients who have experienced extreme stress or trauma. However, this isn't limited to just professionals. As Zenik, Kugman, and Cameron discovered the existence of compassion fatigue when people are exposed to human suffering through the media. For a character like Kakania, who wears her heart on her sleeve, this emotional vulnerability is pronounced. Her story in Reverse 1999, as of this writing, illustrates both the cost of endless empathy and how one can heal and mature from this vulnerability. What distinguishes Kakania from most of the playable characters is she's probably one of the most sociable and seemingly well-adjusted. But that doesn't mean she suffers any less. Instead, her struggle is more subtle, yet equally as damaging. The feeling of obligation to heal to the point of forgetting her own needs. This struggle of hers is almost evident in her relationship with Isolde in Chapter 6, when Kakania saw that she was suffering at the hands of a so-called professional psychologist. She took it upon herself to be her therapist, even though she wasn't qualified to do so. In Chapter 7, when Lucy warns her that she barely has a chance to save lives, she tries anyway. Her compulsion to always be the helper ultimately overwhelmed her. As a result, by the start of her character story, she has temporarily lost her arcane skill, her empathy, the very instrument that she uses to connect with others. The struggle is a central focus of her character story through the looking glass. With her ideals shattered and her issues left exasperated by the end of Chapter 7, this is the lowest narrative point we've seen Kakania in. To better understand the depth of Kakania's emotional breakdown, let's turn back to the clinical definitions. Compassion fatigue has two distinct parts. All right, first, the signs of burnout, such as, but not limited to, exhaustion, frustration, anger, and depression, while the second part is secondly traumatic stress, which are negative feelings that stem from work-related trauma. And from preface alone, this is already established. What is lurking in the mirror? Grief. What is stirring beyond the wall? Calamity. She is the only survivor. Her arm drops to her lap. She looks absently at the knot in her hand. This is the only thing she could do. When being told that she hypnotized Isolde and that she's the only one who can remove it, she hyperventilated, after which she revealed that she can no longer use her arcane skill. We have adopted every known method to undo the hypnosis, but all have failed. We came to the conclusion that you used your arcane skill to hypnotize her. That is why we need your help. Can you undo your hypnosis by casting your arcane skill? She stares at Lucy, her breath rasping in her chest, unable to speak through the shock.
Dr. Kakania.
Take a deep breath, Dr. Kakania. Relax. Try to control the pace of your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. I can't. But you have taken a deep breath already.
No.
No, not that. It's my arcane skill. I can no longer use it. Kakania looks down at the shard clenched in her hand. A drop of blood is running down her palm. She forces herself to look up. With a bitter smile, she presents the shard to Lucy. As you said, experiments always have side effects. You lost something, so did I. Oh man. I haven't got there yet. Or I haven't done the character story either. All in all, throughout her character story, Kakania shows a wide range of emotions and responses that align with compassion fatigue, her frustration over her uselessness, her shock and fear that she hurt someone she cared for, and even her showing trauma response. You cannot, or you don't want to. Both. I can either use my arcane skill, nor I don't want to, or nor do I want to. I am the only one who can help her, aren't I? Alright, the hand mirror throughout this character story symbolizes two particular things: self-reflection and idealism. Self-reflection in the scene that it represents Kakania's long overdue need to reflect on herself, to acknowledge that something is wrong. By defining herself in the role of a helper, she gradually lost sight of her own emotional need. In doing so, she eroded the very foundation of her arcane skill, her empathy. Zemfira, a friend of Kakania's, recognizes this self-destructive pattern. As a result, she gave her a hand mirror, not because it's a tool that Kakania uses to help others, rather it's a tool for herself. Your arcane skill is so intriguing yet horrifying. People, more than anything, fear their true desires being revealed. So you need a container to hold all those overwhelming desires. But to have so many mirrors and not a single one to be held in the hand? It's to serve as a reminder that underneath all the performance is a woman who can be hurt and deserves to be cared for too. Disaster will fall on the shards of a broken mirror. You kept asking us wanderers what we wanted. You learn that Illich desires fortune and that Laurel longs for a life free from hiding. But I haven't given you my answer yet. Later on, Kakania and even her brother Albert state this fact outright. Your first-hand mirror is for reflecting yourself. Your first table mirror is for observing others. The only thing missing is this Ivingler family crest. You'd better present it to Father for his approval. Look, my first-hand mirror, my friend and I had a discussion, and I've decided to use it as a key element for improving my self-awareness. Idealism is central to Kakania's identity. She's not just a psychological practitioner, she's also an activist who wants a better life for both Arcanists and humans. However, this idealism of hers became so grandiose that it lost its original intent. Thus, it's easier to distort. This version that Isolde comes to hear and define for herself, a world for Arcanists in which the cancers of society are removed. It's breathtakingly exquisite. It looks more like a frame for a delicate piece of art than a mirror. This marks the complete shattering of Kakania's ideals in the main story. Before her character story began, as not only did she mishandle helping someone she deeply cared for, and so sharing her dreams, it ultimately destroyed the Vienna that she loved. Because of that blessing, Vienna is gone, and Albert lost his arm. That is why I can't do anything. It's because my mirrors are broken. Speaking of Isolde, her relationship with Kakania, while frequently discussed, still holds unexplored aspects, such as the way they mirror and contrast each other narratively. Both of these women are from high society Arcanist families with unloving parents and caring siblings who then go on to struggle with familiar pressures, as well as the systematic expectations of Vienna. You should really show more respect for Father. You should really show more respect for Father. You should really be more restrained. Don't disgrace yourself. Stop associating with the lower class. Act like a decent middle-class lady and become a part of this beautiful society. But what distinguishes them is the degree of agency they were afforded. Isolde was never given the opportunity to define who she was, forced in roles she never chose, quite literally, while Kakania was able to define herself. The ideals that pushed her on became just as consuming. The breaking and eventual mending of the mirror essentially symbolize her emotional collapse and the slow process of healing. Though cracks remain, they are symbols of her growth. In this, Kakania comes to terms with two important things: that self-care is necessity, and that dreams must be shaped by reality, not just idealism. This is why, in the end, she does not go to Isolde, because after being informed that Isolde's hypnosis or psychological collapse is a willing choice and not forced upon her, Kakania came to an understanding that Isolde needs this for herself. Even if, in the end, it's all just lies. Because healing takes time, and for someone like Isolde who was never given a choice, it's her way of taking back agency for herself. And by so leaving, Kakania accomplishes two things: respecting Isolde's choice and putting herself first. In the end, Kakania's choice to leave is not one of abandonment or selfishness, but of maturity and growth. It's the quiet courage of someone who has learned that empathy is not infinite, and that sometimes the kindest act one can do is stepping away. By honoring Isolde's decision and choosing not to intervene, she reclaims her agency not as a healer, but as a person worthy of care. In the end, Kakania chooses to be present for herself, and that too is an act of compassion. And the references are, of course, here on the site. And just some cute little notes here at the end from the writer of this post. Before I forget, thanks so much for my oomphs who beta read my what? I don't know that term. Beta read? my analysis. I really appreciate you guys for taking the time to read what I said. But number one thanks goes out to my senior best friend. While I mainly did this whole analysis, I wouldn't have connected Kakania's character story and compassion fatigue if it wasn't for them. I mean this genuinely, but personally, they're the smartest Kakania soldier I know in my life. Legit, thanks so much for loving Kakania as equally or even more than me, dude. But yeah, this was really cool. If I find any other like community source stuff like this or little fun Easter eggs here and there, I'll try to share some suggested content as well in future videos. Like I said, I am going to be changing my content quite a bit to where I'm not posting as daily, but still trying to do those live streams to catch up on the story. And then maybe when new content drops, I'll be trying to do live streams to do it with you guys instead of making separate videos on it. But yeah, some things are going to change with my channel a little bit, but I'm still here playing every day. I love the game, and I'm definitely still planning to live stream when I can. This just might be a rough week or so for me to stream again because my husband's still recovering from surgery. The grandparents who normally watch my 1-year-old baby during the day sometimes, well, they're off on vacation. So it's going to be full-on mama mode for the next week pretty well until my husband can recover a little bit better to be able to easily pick up our daughter and not hurt himself while he's still healing. Yeah. So again, I'm still here. I'm very much actively playing. If you guys want to hang out with me in Discord and talk to other community members, be sure to join my community. It's really nice. Nice little place to chat to people, and I hope you guys can join the live streams. But for now, that's all. A shout out again to the person who wrote this. This was pretty cool. We really appreciate it. And yeah, check it out for yourself, guys. Go give them a follow on Twitter. I mean, X, whatever the hell it's called these days. And I'll see you in the next video.